Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrible Home Care. Thank you so much for joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And I got to tell you, now is a fun time of year, not just for me, but for all the kids who've been in school, for all the teachers and faculty. And I can tell you, even the principals are looking forward to what's happening. We welcome into the program Scotty Dryden, who is the principal over at Terrebonne High School. Scotty, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Listen, I know that we were coming out of COVID expecting to have a different kind of year and maybe a better year this year. Then Ida hits and it changes everything. Let's talk a little bit about how Terrebonne has done and what you've seen as the principal over the course of this year.
Well, like you were saying, that we came off of COVID. We were starting to look good. We were starting to open up, starting to do more things. And then, of course, Ida hits. The school, Terrebonne High School, fared very well.
Right.
So then, as you know, we went to platooning with Ellender.
Ellender, right.
And that's actually it was scary going into it, and we didn't quite know what to expect.
Right.
But it actually turned out pretty good. Mr. Dillard and I worked well together. We kind of knew the boundaries. We set the boundaries and traded off, and things have been going relatively well.
Right.
Well,
y'all were part of the gracious group and very gracious in saying, let's figure out how to do this together. And like you mentioned, one of the few schools in the parish that didn't sustain the same type of damage as everybody else. And I know what it was like. And I know what it was like when Ellender did it and being able to platoon. And y'all did that pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround, and it took all parties to be on board, and we didn't miss a beat. We started back up. We made plans, communicated with each other, and for the situation has been relatively smooth on our end.
Right.
I can't speak for Ellender and Mr. Dillard, but hopefully, things weren't that bad for them.
Well, fortunately, I get to talk to him and ask him. And I got a feeling I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to say exactly what happened for them was how gracious y'all were in making it work. But y'all took the time to talk and make a plan. And I know with the administration, that made a difference as well, being able to kind of figure that out with Mr. Martin as well.
Right. So we did get to talk it out. We didn't have much time for that turnaround, but we had time to talk it out. We knew what we had to do and what was expected of us, and we kind of just tried to hit the ground running.
Just get it done. As we move forward from what happened in the fall to now in the spring, how excited has this graduating class been coming into this year of graduation for 2022?
It's really odd for this class because they didn't have many years to enjoy anything.
Right.
When I got to Terrebonne, we did many things to celebrate the students, and it kind of just got cut off with the pandemic. And then
right.
This year, like I said, we opened up. So they got to do more things. They got to enjoy dances at school.
Right.
We got to do pep rally. We did some of the things that they heard about coming up and they thought they were going to get to do when they got to Terrebonne. We finally got to do it. So that created a little excitement. It's still not normal because we're in a different situation now.
Right.
So I can't wait till hopefully we get to that normal stage where we can fully enjoy everything.
Right.
And the same for Ellender. I'm sure they can't wait for that also.
Yeah. And so speaking of that, how did those go? How did the dances go this year? How was that?
It went great. Kids were excited.
Mm-hmm.
They were very well behaved. They didn't take it for granted. They followed the rules and they enjoyed themselves. So, it went fine.
That's fantastic. It's one of those things where you feel like you get in a situation where kids now get something that they've been wanting to have happen, and all of a sudden it happens and they maybe go overboard. We haven't seen that much in our schools. And I got to tell you, it's awfully exciting about that.
Yeah, it's of course it's hard to, I can imagine. I know how it feels as an adult for this situation, but as a kid, I'm sure it just threw them off, and they've handled it very well. They've had to deal with something year after year after year,
right?
And not just small things,
right? Big stuff.
Yeah, so they've handled it all well.
Yeah. Speaking of the big stuff, let's talk about graduation.
Okay.
What was the perspective going in, and how exciting of a time for you guys?
It's always an exciting time of the year, and it's one of those bittersweet things because you've watched these kids grow up for 4 years. And now you got to say goodbye to them. and say hello to the, kind of take in the new freshmen. So it's always bittersweet. They're excited. They're always excited about graduation. As a kid, you don't see further than tomorrow.
Right.
So they're all excited about it. Not a whole lot of them thinking about what's going to happen in the weeks to come, and the things they have to start dealing with whenever we say the real world hits them. But they're excited. We're always excited for them, and it feels more normal the way things are going now without the pandemic. So everybody's excited about at least that.
Okay. If there's one thing that you could tell me that you've seen through this adversity that's going to make Terrebonne High School better, what would it be as we look forward?
I think the way that the kids took Ellender coming, and we made posters. We tried to welcome them. They've been really great about it. So I think it's helped them develop them, and maybe with the way they're going to look at helping other people in the future. So I think that's the biggest thing. They've been great and gracious hosts to Ellender.
Right.
So I think that's going to help them in the future. Now they know how it feels to give to somebody.
So not only teaching the kids, but ingraining in them the importance of character is something
Absolutely.
that you and your team have done. And we can't thank you enough for joining us here. Congratulations, and really look forward to great things at Terrebonne.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it, Scotty. All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou time as we spend some time with other principals in the area.